they're not eating out as much because they're not training 10 people back to back all day.
Yeah.
And so it's funny how the people in the fitness industry are probably the fittest that they've been.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's even speaking for myself, I don't think I've cooked as much in in the last year that I have in the last week and a half. So.
If you had one client walk up to you, your ideal client that you would train them for like the rest of your life for free because it just would be so much fun, like who would that person look like?
Someone who's all in on they want to improve their health from a 360 approach. So if you talk about their obviously the physical side. So to me, I look at 4 pillars of wellness, right? So if you look at the mental health, physical, sleep and recovery, and diet. And ideal person is someone who wants to get better at all those, is willing to understand process and buy into a process, and being able to kind of like reevaluate on a consistent basis, like, all right, what's your weakest of your 4 pillars? And let's tackle those in whatever capacity makes sense. And then just continuously reevaluate.
Sleep especially. Like, talk a little bit more about sleep, just in terms of just optimizing, the workout. Like, one of the trainers I had on the other day was saying, like, it's so underestimated in terms of the value for the rest of the
Yeah, I mean, realistically, if you're under recovered, the strain you put on your body can be detrimental. You might be working backwards even though you think you're pushing harder yourself. And optimize doesn't mean go all out every day. I think you need to understand what normal cycling is from an intensity standpoint, outside stressors, what else is going on in your day-to-day, your surrounding, your social network, things like that. So I think sleep is one major aspect, but it is one aspect that needs to be managed. And from a sleep perspective, like, that's where most of your recovery takes place. And if you're not getting normal cycles, you're simply not recovering, period.
Exactly. So true. Yeah, as fitness professionals, we spend so much time working in the business that we spend no time at all working on the business.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And it resonates with me so much because I'm always like, man, I just love meeting people. Like, I'd love to just have this platform, just find out more about people's stories. And there's nothing in it other than just say, like, what do you do? Tell me about you.
Yeah.
Like, what's your vision? Like, why'd you call your name that? Whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then we all are so empowered by these conversations, right? And and then also just referrals too, right? Like, if you're like a high guy, or someone's just like all rehab, or someone's just like a specialist on whatever, like, I don't have to be the expert on absolutely everything. Like, I love my Pilates, and like, here's my lab here, and I work on stuff, but I don't have to be a jack of all trades. I can narrow down and just be like the man in this one corner of the world and hand everyone else off to you and to others, and we all just get better at our craft that way. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, I've realized that in the last probably year and a half, 2 years, where it's like, stop trying to have an answer for everything, but create a solid network of people that you trust and can refer out. And in the end, it's you're better servicing the people that are asking the questions in the first place. I'm happy to refer out. I think a lot of people in our industry have an ego and they're afraid to say they aren't sure about something. In which case, I think they're stunting their growth as a health professional.
Yes, and as a person, that's just an awareness of like where you are and what you know, right? My background is in social work. So when I was in that world before I got into fitness, or kind of concurrently, we talked a lot about wraparound services, and that sense of, the person has this issue, but then let's get them connected with the person who understands nutrition, and let's get them someone who understands addictions, and the person who's going to help them with their employment, and the person's going to help them with housing. So all of these services wrap around the person so that collectively we're helping them. And I think that mindset is starting to shift within fitness too, where we need to have that kind of wraparound mindset with it, where, I have a nutritionist who can speak to that. Like, I know like a little bit, just enough to be dangerous about nutrition, but this person is an expert. And then this person is your movement and, whatever. This person is going to be for corrective exercise, or this person is going to be for even just your mind, sports psychologist or like someone like an actual coach or.
Yeah, no doubt. So it's like, I think right up to the professional level, they're starting to see the need to kind of hit not just training and food. Like you're getting now, almost every sports team has a sports scientist tracking, training impact, recovery and sleep. And it's not all just like performance output. It's more just like, how do we maintain and improve performance on a regular basis? And they're starting to realize that, hey, we need to actually take this from all angles. We have to look at this from all angles. And I think the general population can do that too. You just have to ask around, understand who has knowledge in certain aspects, and invest in a little bit of knowledge. And then from there, you can, depending on what, your resources or whatever, like, okay, you can hire people to do it on a regular basis, or just, invest a little bit from an education standpoint, and then you can make, well-informed decisions on your own moving forward. A fun question that I like to ask myself, and I like to ask anyone asking me for help in some capacity, is everyone has a goal or aspiration, right? It could be a health goal, it could be a business goal, whatever. A lot of times we ask, what's the goal? And then we ask, what's the why?
Yes.
Why are you trying to do it? And no doubt that that's super important to define both of those. I think the follow-up question that a lot of people don't ask are, why haven't you already achieved that?
Yes.
And then you start being real honest with yourself about your limiting factors.
Everyone comes down to one of three things when they walk in the door and they want to get training or they want to kind of change their life. They're looking for either education, motivation, or accountability, or some combination of the three. Like they're educated and they have accountability, but they're not motivated, or they're motivated to make a change, but they don't have the education, they don't know what to do, and they have no one really to answer to, so they've dropped off a million times. Or they have this accountability circle, and now they don't know what to do next, sort of thing. So I look at it from that perspective, where I'm like, okay, so what's the missing link? Because
I think you nailed it with your kind of, there's three different things to consider, and people either have an issue with one of them or a combination of all three. And I think I love the way you actually put that, because I might steal that one.
Yeah, absolutely. It's yours for the stealing. From what you said, like so far, like the thing that I appreciate and respect about you is that you're taking an individualized approach to every person that's in front of you.
Yeah.
And I can hear that just in the way that, like, you don't have like a straight answer for any questions. Cause, well, you have a different body, it's gonna be a different answer, right? Like, so
yeah. I think, I swear to God, one day I'm going to write a book that's titled "It Depends."